Namaste, Jai Shivai. Let's talk about Vairagya today. I understand that, for a lot of people it's very difficult to understand Vairagya just through words. But so it is to understand love, true love, devotion, compassion, right? But let's see, through different examples, we'll try to understand what Vairagya is. So, Vairagya actually is of three different types, or you can say there are three levels or three degrees to the Vairagya. Three levels of depth to the Vairagya. Okay, so first level is, let's talk about levels and then I'll keep on explaining what each level means. So the first level is when a person, starts realizing that in the world, no matter what he does, at times he needs some relief, some sort of mental peace, some shanti is needed. And instead of trying to find shanti through more worldly things, like trying to find shanti by drinking alcohol, trying to find mental balance, peace, or joy through lot of sex or through indulging into lot of other worldly desires. Instead of those things, when a person starts turning towards Satsang, God, not out of fear, turning towards Satsang, towards gurus, towards, spiritual stuff, not as such walking your own spiritual journey, but just taking a turn towards those kind of things. And understanding that a bhajan, a satsang, or guru's words actually give much more of everlasting peace than getting laid or indulging into smoking, dinner, parties, rock shows, this show, that show, and on the worldly side. So when a person starts turning towards these things, and he starts not only just turning, he starts realizing that these things are a better way to achieve some peace, to, there is something different in them. And he started having some sort of aversion towards this whole rat race, this worldly chase. He starts becoming aware of the fact that, no matter even if somebody has a lot of money, they still can't sleep at night. They are insomniacs. No matter what your achievement is, till the time you find perfect balance of mind, you are still prone to lots of diseases, decay, old age, and all kinds of mental and emotional suffering. Nothing in your worldly goals, no worldly goals can give you a mental peace, can give you something more than something that is until now unknown to you. It cannot give you that. So there is some realization in that. So people start going to satsangs, listening to gurus, maybe start doing a little bit of yoga, and for better well-being, because they don't want to, get into a lot of medicines and have a lot of side effects later on. So they start turning towards that and start seeing that this world is not the ultimate truth. And there is some realization like that. So this is first degree of Vairagya. This Vairagya, this stage of Vairagya is actually termed as, in Sanskrit it is termed as vimukhi. Okay, so earlier your face, your desires, your goals were only worldly, but right now you are having an aversion from all that, and you are taking a U-turn, or you are taking a turn on the other side, and you are seeing, okay, so this world also exists. There is something called as a spiritual world. There is something called as yoga. There is something in the satsang, in front of gurus, in the company of gurus or spiritual people. There is something different in them. So you become vimukhi. This is the first degree or the first level of vairagya. Then there is second level of vairagya. Second level of vairagya is, in order to understand this second level of vairagya, let me give you an example. Okay, so the example is that, say for example, there is a person who does a charity, some act of kindness he is doing, and he does some charity, and he wants to be known for it. Why? Because he doesn't want to, seem like a person who never does charity, or who is not good to other people, who doesn't care about the society, who doesn't care about giving back in one way or the other. So for him or her, for such a person, his or her self-image is very important. Okay, his self-image should be good. He wants to be seen as a good person. Okay, so he will talk about his charity. He'll make sure some people know it. He'll make sure the person to whom he is doing a charity understands that, the other person is being good right now to him, and that he's taking part in this charity thing. So his self-image is very concerned. Such a person who is doing this kind of kindness act or the charity act is being self-concerned about his self-image. For him, his self-image matters. So this is one kind of charity. Now, another kind of charity is where some people, when they do act of kindness or charity, they put some effort so that it doesn't become known. Okay? They do not want to be like one of those who do the charity for name, fame, for getting a label of being good in the society. So this kind of person makes some effort so that his or her charitable acts are never seen, never known by somebody other than the person who is on the receiving end of charity too. Again, this kind of a person is also being concerned about their self-image, right? This person is also concerned about self-image. Then there is a person who is in between. Okay, this person has nothing to do with his self-image. He is not at all concerned whether his act of charity comes to the knowledge of other people, to the knowledge of the society, or that it doesn't becomes the knowledge of anybody. He makes no effort to make his act known. He makes no effort to hide or cover up this act. That kind of a person. So you see, in the first case, when the person is trying to be good, trying to look good in other people's eyes, and not just in other people's eyes, in his own eyes, when he's trying to be good in his own eyes, then at that time, that person is doing the charitable act with raga, with attachment. Attachment to what? Attachment to their own self-image. Attachment to the image of being good, being noble, right? So they have raga. This is called as raga. Attachment towards these kind of things. And the other person who is trying to hide it also is concerned about their self-image, but in a different way. Not only being good, being some kind of Robin Hood actually, who does lot of charity and a lot of other acts and doesn't want to be much known. Even though he doesn't want to be much known, he will be known later on someday. Okay, so there's no really no need to hide all these things and do all that. So this person is also, so there is another kind of raga here. Both have raga. Whether you talk about attachment or you talk about detachment, when you are being detached, you are attached to being detached, if that makes sense. So in both cases, there is raga in it. One is ragi, another one is vairagi. You see, this one is ragi, this one is vairagi, means ragi in viparita direction, opposite direction, but he's still a ragi. Now the one who walks in between neither tries to display his kind acts or anything, nor he has any problem with hiding it or covering it or doing something like that. He's not concerned about that thing, self-image at all, while being compassionate, while being kind to somebody. His only sole thing is about just doing that what is needed in any given moment. Just keep doing it. So he's neither ragi, he's nor vairagi, he's actually a vairagi. This is who a vairagi is. Now, when you look at a vairagi person, they may be living the life and doing everything that a person who is doing with raga may also seem to do. The person who may be a vairagi or ragi in an opposite direction, he may also be doing the same thing. All three are doing the act of kindness, but they all have a subtle difference in the fact that tomorrow, say for example, the ragi who was doing the act of kindness for his self-image, if somehow somebody to whom he has done the act of kindness, they start throwing stones on him, or they start beating this guy, then he will, or say something false, or he gets accused of something bad, then this kind of a person will be completely disturbed. He'll never do another act of charity or kindness. Right? He will be completely disturbed by the fact that his self-image is being shattered, is being broken, is being falsified, is being accused. So he will be completely mentally disturbed, and that will impact whether he does charity next time or not. Same thing is with the vairagi, the person who is trying to hide it. If his act of charity comes known, and again his self-image is being shattered, now he's being known for doing his charity, so then he may try even harder to not be known. Okay, he may try to appear humble and everything, but still that will impact how he does the charity next time. Next time he may become even more careful not to be known by that person. Right? But this third person, so this is vairagi, he's also concerned with self-image. This is just one simple example that I am giving you. It's the same thing with anything in life, any kind of karma in life. That karma means any kind of, right now in the context that I am talking, karma I am referring to the any kind of mental or intentional action. Okay, mental, emotional, intentional doing, any kind of doing right now. So whether it's a matter of doing a tapasya, or whether it's a matter of doing charity, or whether it's a matter of living a family life, or whether it's a matter of living a life as a sannyasi, any kind of a thing. Either a person is a ragi or he is a vairagi. Very hardly you will find a person who is vairagi. Vairagi person is devoid of raga. The raga creates a push and pull in you. The pull was towards the self-image. The push was in vairagi against the self-image. So the one who is free of this push and pull of ragi and vairagi, the one who is free from that, is called as vairagi. Okay. Now it's hard to find it's hard to know by the actions or by the living or just perceiving somebody for a day or two or even for 3 months, 6 months. You'll never know whether a person is a vairagi or not. Okay? Only you will know a person is a true vairagi only when he is able to achieve his spiritual goals, which is moksha. True vairagi is very close to moksha, is very close to enlightenment, very close to self-realization. For true vairagis, if this is life, this life is their last life. For a true vairagi. And it's not that they are vairagis for one thing or the other. They have no raga or no vitraga towards life itself. They may go on making relationships, they may go into marriage and worldly relation. Neither sannyasa matters nor sansara matters. Neither there is a pull from sannyasa, neither there is a push towards sannyasa. Neither there is a pull from sansara, nor there is a push from sansara. So they are free of this push and pull of raga. A lot of people become spiritual these days because they start doing yoga because they have raga towards their body. They want to live a healthy life and there's nothing wrong about it. It's not a question that whether raga is right or wrong. It's just that to what extent it takes you where. Okay, having a healthy body is a prerequisite, and for most of the people, for walking their spiritual journey. So some raga towards your physical body is good, but if you go on, if all your efforts are just keeping your body alive through yoga, through asanas, through pranayamas, through gym, through this, through that, through eating this and that, then you have a very strong raga towards your body, which anyways is going to end one day. Okay, then the person will come out of that raga. So you see, it's not possible for us to figure it out whether a person is vairagi or not when we see them living. And one example of that I can give you is that Buddha, Siddhartha Gautam, Buddha, when he went to do tapasya, he did tapasya with very, very ascetic and very, very kathor, very, very harsh tapas. He did in the forests with 5-6 other people who became his mates, his friends. And they did 6 years they spent doing jal tapasya inside the water, tapasya on the top of the tree, by burying themselves in the ground, not eating at all, not drinking water at all, long periods of fasting, severe fasting. So they did all this kind of ascetic stuff. He did it, Buddha did it. But the day he realized that somehow that this is not the way, complete aversion, being a vairagi is not the way. So he went and he was eating. He went and took some food and he was sitting there and eating. So this was in Bodh Gaya that he was eating, and his 5 of these friends with whom he was doing tapas since last 5-6 years, they saw him eating. They immediately thought, oh, he is having aasati. Aasati means raga, which is towards the worldly side, towards the bodily side, towards the physical side. They saw that, okay, so he is having aasati again in the body. He wants to keep the body healthy, nourished and alive. And they thought that they couldn't see Vairagi in Buddha at that time. They did not see Buddha as Vairagi while he was taking food. So instead of, trying to say something or anything, just by his one action that he was eating food, they all concluded that he is having asakti into the body, into the life, and he has, forsaken the path of tapasya, kathor tapasya, harsh tapas. He has left the path of being ascetic and he is not with us anymore. So how about we just leave him aside? So these 5 people, 5-6 people, they left for Sarnath and they went into the forest and they start doing their tapas. Only after some time, when Buddha actually attained and Buddha enlightenment happened to Buddha, for his first lecture, he came to Sarnath again. So when he came to Sarnath, these 5 people, they were doing tapasya in the forest outside the forest right there. So they were all thinking that even if Buddha comes to us now, we will not stand or, include him in our group again. And we will not even pay him any attention, not give him any respect. But the way Buddha was walking, in such a fluid manner, the way his entire energy and the aura was, he just got enlightened and he was walking towards Sarnath. And he came to Sarnath for his first lecture. And the very way his entire existence was, these 5 people couldn't help but stood up. Couldn't say a word, but one of them got the water to wash his feet. Another one got the towel to dry his feet. And they just made him comfortable. Couldn't say a word at all. They were speechless. After looking at Buddha in his eyes, there was something unexplainable about him. So, Buddha gave his first sermon. First gyana that he gave was to these 5 people. And one of them, just while listening to the gyana that he was giving, just right then and there, one of them achieved Samadhi. Another one achieved Samadhi 14 days later. Another one achieved Samadhi 2 months later. So you see, and because they were ascetic themselves, they have reached to at least some level of, they were closer to Samadhi. They have reached there through harsh tapas. They were able to burn a lot of chittavrittis through harsh tapas. So they were in a position to actually perceive the aura of Buddha. They were actually able to be speechless when they saw Buddha. Anybody who has lot of chittavrittis, and yes, there are all the time people in this world who do not recognize anything different in any self-realized being, in any enlightened being. They are not able to perceive anything different from them. Why? Their chittavrittis are creating all kinds of nonsense in their head and they are just totally consumed by it. So when you're totally consumed by something in your head, in your mind, in your emotions, in your own existence, you'll not have energy, or you'll not have time and energy, and the perception of somebody else, something else, doesn't happen. It's the same thing. One person may be so busy loving other person that he'll fail to see whether other person loves him the same way or not, or loves her the same way or not. So at times you are just consumed by yourself. You see? So Vairagi, what I'm explaining here is that Vairagi, you cannot understand a Vairagi by seeing what he does, how he lives. You cannot see Vairagya in that way. The only way to see Vairagya is when that person seriously walks his or her own spiritual journey, and not just walks the spiritual journey but attains the ultimate truth. Or you start seeing transformation in a very speedy way, just in 5 years, 6 years of time. When they start walking, when a true Vairagi walks their spiritual journey, it doesn't take more than 3 to 5 years. So a lot of people walk their spiritual journey, but they are not Vairagi yet. They are walking a spiritual journey. Some are walking out of fear that, okay, so some are doing it because it's a mental understanding that you have to be free from death and birth life cycle. It hasn't really become a pain in the ass for them. So they are walking because of their mental understanding. Some are walking because they have some kind of spiritual goals, that I want to be enlightened, I want to be self-realized, or the goal is to be a guru and start teaching, or the goal is to be very famous and known to everybody just by being in service for everybody. Okay, you want to serve the world. What if you lose your body during enlightenment or self-realization? Where are all these goals? What about it? So again, some people just wrap their worldly goals, their desire, into the, nice wrapping of Vairagya, to nice wrapping of a spiritual journey. So you walk your worldly journey in a spiritual way and you call it as a walking as a spiritual journey. No. Vairagya, true Vairagya has not happened in you. And when true Vairagya happens, then you may be living in the world, eating, sleeping, having sex, having wife, husband and kids and whatever. But you're not attached. You are neither ragi nor you are with ragi. Completely devoid of raga is the person called as vairagi. Okay? So vairagya, you cannot make judgments about those who are truly vairagi. And at the same time, but you can figure it out at the same time, that whether you are a vairagi or not, truly. Because if you are not, then you must have some goal to achieve, worldly goal, spiritual goal to achieve through this journey. And now you may ask that, what if I have a goal of moksha? Will that be considered as a goal? No, it's not. But then, if it's just a mental goal that I have to attain moksha, if it's just mental understanding that, as I said, that birth and life cycle, birth and death are truly pain, and our shastras and scriptures tell us that birth and death are pain, so let's go towards moksha. So if it is just a mental understanding, and and because of the mental understanding you have created a goal of moksha, then even though you are walking your spiritual journey, you will be very, very concerned about what happens to your father, what happens to your mother, how they think, what they do, what happens to your wife, to your children, to this world, to everything. Where will the money come? From where you will get this? From where that will happen? When will this happen? When will I get this siddhi? When will I have that siddhi? Am I progressing? Am I not progressing? Instead of really focusing and doing just your sadhana, you are focusing and being distracted by everything else around you. That means you're not a vairagi yet. Moksha is not the goal that has come from within you. Moksha is just your mental and emotional goal. It's not something that has come from within. Till you turn or become. And what is required to be that way? Enough suffering. There is no other way. Until you suffer this world, until all the chittavrittis in you have played out, until you have become a bhogi, complete bhogi, and then your bhog has no raga in it. Your bhog becomes without raga. So if a vairagi is living in the life, wearing clothes or, having relationships, Their bhog has no raga in it, no attachment in it. If tomorrow everything is lost, it's lost. They won't cry. That's the difference. They are doing duty and they are being very spontaneous about what comes right in front of them. They just get it done without much mental emotional entanglement because they are Vairagi. They don't care, what is going to be the output of their actions. And they do not indulge into anything that involves or entangles them into the samsara. They won't do bad deeds because it will entangle them into the samsara. It will take away their time and their attention and their focus and their concentration from their own sadhana, from their own tapas. So they avoid creating more relationships. They avoid being too much social. Complete vairagya. They do not care about this world, whichever way it runs, what is going on around them. Once a person is enlightened, is self-realized, only then he or she can actually help the world. Before that, helping this or helping that, this person and helping that person, helping your relatives here and there. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen through you, you're not sad about it. There's no investment. There's no investment of mental, emotional energy, way too much, into anything around you except your own spiritual journey. That's how a Vairagi is. Vairagi lives in the world. Sannyasa doesn't matter. Sansara doesn't matter. Vairagi lives in this world. Having relationships doesn't matter. Not having them doesn't matter either. They are very much focused. They are very much aligned and inclined with what they have within. Their search for unknown within. That's what they are aligned with. They have no other goal, no other purpose. When a Vairagi, now let's talk about a heightened state of Vairagya, which is called as Paravairagya. So, there's something called as Purusha, or in other words, you can call it Atma. So there is Purusha and Prakriti. There is Atma. And Prakriti is an equilibrium of three gunas. Sattva guna, Rajas guna and Tamas guna. Prakriti is a balance of these three things. And as well, the imbalance of these things which appear as a chittavritti. So our existence is a combination, is a mixture of Prakriti and Purusha. When a person is a ragi or a vitragi, then in both cases, he is just a puppet of the Prakriti. He's playing by the Prakriti. At times he is having Sattva guna play and the chittavrittis and sanskars coming out according to the Sattva guna that belongs to the Sattva guna. At times he is doing something, sleeping, or he's being lazy, or he's being inactive, and all kinds of bad things he is doing. That is tamas. He is being played. His tamas chittavrittis are being played. And when he is doing a mixture of both, then it's a rajas that is being played. So Prakriti and Purusha. Purusha means Atma. When in a Vairagi, Purusha arises, Atma arises, Atma starts awakening, Atma Bhakti arises. That's when he becomes Parvairagi. That is what is called as Paravairagya. Now there is no turning back. Now there is no coming back. Now nothing is visible. The world is lost. When Atma Bhakti arises, one is very close to walk their spiritual journey, very close to enlightenment, to self-realization, to Kundalini awakening all the way till Sahasrara. Person is very close towards all these things. So you see, from Vairagya, Paravairagya happens. And the requirement is chittavrittis have to come down. Substantial amount of chittavrittis have gone down. Substantial amount of karmic load has been exhausted. Substantial amount of sattvic, tamasic, rajasic gunas and their play has been exhausted. So now you can understand where you are based off of Vairagya's description. So if Vairagya has not happened to you and you are walking your spiritual journey, then keep going. If not this life, next life, you will definitely find your goal, reach your goal. Definitely attain moksha. Namaste. Jai Shivaya.